China is vast, covering 7% of the planet's land surface. In this series, I'll explore the country's mountains and grasslands. I'll cross China's greatest deserts and jungles. China is the only country with elephants in the south and reindeer in the north. I'll go in search of them and many other extraordinary and rare creatures. Join me on my adventures in untamed China. This impressive mountain range is on the border of Sichuan and Tibet. I feel on top of the world. I'm in the province of Sichuan, high in the heavenly mountains. They're called that because this region is so rich in wildlife, it's known as the Heavenly Kingdom. I'm on the Balangshan Pass, 4,500 metres in altitude. At lower elevations in the Sichuan mountains, they're some of the last strongholds of giant pandas. I'll be journeying down there to explore the bamboo forests and track down frogs found nowhere else on Earth. You can see the males a little smaller than the female. I'll meet some charismatic monkeys and tussle with giant pandas. They are just superb animals. And on China's Table Mountain, I'll search for a red panda. But first off, I'm going to meet some of the creatures that live here above the tree line. Most of these alpine specialists never descend below 2,000 metres. Even right up here, there's mammals eking out a living. Above me, a flock of blue sheep. They get their name because the populations in the Himalayas have much bluer fur than the ones here in Sichuan. The flocks scrape away the snow for lichens and any scraps of dry grass they can find. Both sexes are horned. The males can have sweeping horns over 80 centimetres long. In the breeding season, rival males will regularly lock horns over mates. They'll use their headgear for defence against predators like snow leopards too. Although that's a last resort. If they sense danger, their first instinct is to freeze, relying on their protective coloration to blend into the background. Other creatures here give themselves away when they're looking for food under the snow. The movement caught my eye. There's something dislodging clumps of snow. Snow partridge. There's a little flock, a little covey of them. Balangshan Pass is one of the best places on the planet to see these birds. For most of the year, there's up to 8 snow partridges in a covey. But soon it will be the breeding season when bigger flocks can form. After courtship, the hens will lay 3 to 5 eggs in a nest scrape under a rock. Clutches laid in the open are at risk from being trampled by these animals. Yak. They've been domesticated by the mountain peoples of Asia for thousands of years. Their fur is used for clothing, their meat and milk for food, their dung is even used for fuel. I'm huffing and puffing, but the rarefied air poses no problems for the yak. To get the most from every breath, they have huge lungs, and blood that can carry much more oxygen than mine can. This baby is less than a day old, but can still keep up. Changeable weather is the norm in the mountains. It can be sunny one minute, snowing the next. I'm on my way to some animals that really stand out here, even in a blizzard.
In a monochrome landscape like this, you wouldn't expect brightly coloured creatures. But living here is one of China's most colourful birds.
Grandula. These thrush-sized beauties aren't just found in China. They add a splash of colour to the mountains of India, Burma and Nepal too. Only the males are bright purpley blue. Females are a dull greyish brown. Grandula make their home in alpine meadows and on rocky screes above the tree line. In spring, the birds gather in areas where the snow is melting to search for newly uncovered insects and their grubs. You wouldn't think these are ideal conditions for a bath, but the grandula have to keep their feathers in trim, whatever the weather. This one washes itself as snowflakes melt on its feathers. The gaudy grandulas seem out of place here, but I soon spot other birds more in keeping with this landscape. Snow pigeons. Patterned in grey and white, they're much more striking than city pigeons. They fly down slope, but flocks rarely drop below 3,000 metres. It's time for me to head down from the heavenly mountains now. I've an important appointment with some giant pandas. It was amazing to see all those alpine specialists, but being at altitude is hard work. As I descend from the high point of the pass, breathing becomes easier. For a little while, I'm going to swap untamed China for civilized China and a little luxury. My destination is the capital of Sichuan province, Chengdu. It's one of my favourite Chinese cities, not least because it's the panda capital of the world. The city has given me a very special honour. I'm Chengdu's second panda ambassador. The first was Hollywood star Jackie Chan, who had 2 panda cubs named after him. Jackie and I have an important role to keep people updated about panda conservation. It may be a ceremonial position, but the job certainly has its perks. As a thank you for my work, they're really spoiling me. I'm not used to this. What's the etiquette for leaving a limousine? I should cross my ankles, shouldn't I? Shishini.
For a chap who spends many weeks roughing it in swamps, jungles and deserts, this luxury is really much appreciated.
Coming up, I tussle with panda cubs. Chengdu. More panda babies are produced at the city's panda base than anywhere else on Earth. I've been honoured as a panda ambassador to publicise their conservation work. Later in the show, I'll have some really exciting news. Pandas are one of the world's most popular animals. Nobody was quite sure until recently whether they were bears, raccoons, or in a family all of their own. Now genetic studies have proved they have as much right to be called bears as polars and grizzlies. But they're bears with a difference. Their diet is almost exclusively bamboo. For its 80 or so pandas, the base brings in 2.5 tons of the stuff every day. They spend up to 16 hours a day doing this. A panda can munch through 3,500 bamboo stalks in 24 hours. Over a year, they can eat 4.5 tons. That's the weight of an adult elephant in bamboo. The giant grass is low in calories, so pandas have no choice but to eat and eat. Some pandas aren't eating bamboo quite yet. These crowd pleasers, just a month old, won't be weaned onto solids for another 5 months.
This is the nursery stroke intensive care unit. All of the panda cubs from the breeding base come here. One just about to be fed.
A newborn cub has come for a checkup. At birth, pandas are minuscule, weighing just 100 grams. They're 800 times smaller than their mother.
Need to top up the incubators with water, keep the humidity just right.
When nurturing a creature as priceless as a panda, nothing can be left to chance. The success of Chengdu's breeding program is all down to intensive research and a wealth of experience. Adoring fans watch older cubs with an adult female. She's not their mum, but is a good surrogate. Soon I'll be their playmate.
For young pandas, a tree is the perfect climbing frame. They're really having fun. This is one of the greatest perks, being a panda ambassador, meeting the new cubs born here. There were 7 last year, 2 sets of twins. In the past, when twins were born, one of them always used to die, but now they have a special technique so that all of the babies survive.
Panda mums can only produce enough milk for 1 infant. So a mother with twins needs a helping hand. The keepers are making a swap. This cub is being taken to the nursery for a top-up of milk. Now its twin has a turn with mother. Both babies have quality time with mum and ample supplies of milk. Cub swapping like this gives both twins a good start. Now there's a population boom in captive pandas. Last year, 18 cubs were successfully reared here. The 7 I'm playing with are a real handful. Just imagine the pandemonium if there were 18 of them.
Always amazes me, giant pandas aren't quite as soft and cuddly as you'd imagine they would be. Their fur really is quite coarse and wiry. They've got quite sharp claws. This one scratched my face. but he didn't mean to do any harm. They're just playing. They really are quite strong. Certainly wouldn't want to play with an adult panda. They've got really powerful jaws and teeth. So powerful they could easily snap a bone. Panda ambassador, I can announce some really good news. The captive population of pandas has reached a magic number of 300, which means the Chengdu Panda Base are thinking about releasing some of them back into the wild. So you may go and see your natural home,
which is in the mountains of central China in the provinces of Sichuan and Shanxi. The steep slopes are cloaked with deciduous forest and thickets of bamboo. There are over 1,000 species of these thick-stemmed grasses. Only 40 or so are to a panda's taste. Captive pandas released into the wild will have to learn how and where to find the right kinds. A wild panda, like this one, was taught by her mother how to locate the most nutritious and succulent stands of bamboo. Until reintroduced pandas have local knowledge like she does, they'll have to be monitored closely to ensure they're finding enough food. Fingers crossed for the success of this ambitious project. Will this cub be a panda pioneer? Now, if I can just get away, I'm off to the wild myself to find other fabulous creatures that live with pandas. My first stop is a couple of 100 kilometres north of Chengdu, the picturesque Tangihe Reserve. En route, we passed through Tangihe village. Destroyed by the devastating earthquake in 2008, it's since been completely rebuilt. Tangihe is one of 50 or so reserves in China, set up to preserve the giant panda and its habitat. When pandas are protected, many other spectacular creatures are too. Right now, one of them should be on the highest peaks. The golden tarkin, a strange goat-like creature. I've come to the picturesque Tangihe Reserve to climb high into the mountains. That's where I hope to meet the golden tarkin. But before that, I want to see an animal that for me will complete a set. The creatures I'm looking for have a great claim to fame. One of them, Albert II, became the first primate to travel into space. Calling and shrieking. There's a troop of rhesus macaques. This is a relatively small group. These monkeys sometimes travel in large troops of up to 180 individuals. That completes the set. I've now seen all three species of monkey that live shoulder to shoulder with pandas. The other two, golden monkeys and Tibetan macaques, are only found in China. Rhesus macaques are widespread all over southern Asia. They occupy an enormous range of habitats and climates, from snow-covered mountains to semi-deserts, even cities. Cheek pouches to carry surplus food are one of the reasons for their success. A rhesus macaque was the first primate in space because these monkeys have long had the dubious honour of being popular research subjects for scientists around the world. Such charismatic monkeys. I'll leave them to their lunch. Coming up, I go on a night safari.
Shenmao, a leopard cat.
And visit the top of China's Table Mountain in search of a marvellous mammal. It's late spring in Tangier Reserve. The mountainsides are flushed pink with blossom. Tomorrow I'll be climbing to the high peaks in search of golden tarkin. But now's my chance to find creatures that live lower down. Around 85 species of mammal make Tangier their home. Most of them hide by day, emerging in the black of night.
Tangier Reserve is a great place for spotlighting. There's some exciting mammals that prowl here after dark. You never know what you're going to see.
By holding the spotlight close to my face, the eye shine of animals is picked out by the beam and reflected directly back at me.
On the cliff there, a masked palm civet. Must have been going down to the river to drink. Looking at us now. Beautiful black and white markings on the face. Masked palm civets feed mainly on fruit, but they'll also take insects, rodents, birds, if they can catch them. They're superb climbers, spend a lot of their time in the trees. Away he goes, running up the hillside.
Sweeping the light left and right, up and down, maximises the chances of picking up moving animals or their eye shine.
Ting, ting. Shenmao, a leopard cat. The Chinese name means money cat because the spots on the coat are the same size and shape as Chinese coins. About the size of a small domestic cat. It's out hunting for rodents and sleeping birds. The female has 2 to 4 kittens. Dad will help her look after the babies. It's gone. Disappeared. Great, thank you. Shishini. Time to head back. The rain has stopped play. No complaints though. A masked palm civet and a leopard cat.
I hope the rain stops before tomorrow, when we're ascending Tangier's highest peak. And the next morning, the rain has stopped. The weather gods must be with us. It'll take most of the day to reach base camp, 2,500 metres up. We're on the trail of golden tarkin. In spring and summer, these strange animals, a kind of goat antelope, move uphill to pastures on the high tops. They can sometimes form large herds, 300 strong. When we reach base camp in the late afternoon, it seems the weather gods have changed their minds.
That was a long, hard climb. And now look at this. The weather's closed in. Howling gale, rain and wind. It's cold. Even though it's late, listen to that, even though it's late spring.
If the bad weather persists, it will be a serious setback in our search for golden tarkin. But surely the storm will blow itself out in the night.
A gale in the night. I really thought the wind would die down and the rain would stop. But when I woke up in the morning, I was flabbergasted to see this. It's May! You wouldn't expect a major snowfall like this. We came up here to see golden tarkin. after a rare goat-like antelope. They come up here for the summer pastures. I was imagining seeing little babies playing in green meadows. No chance of that now. I've encountered Tarkin before though. It was here in Tangier Reserve a couple of autumns ago.
Tarkin vary in colour, depending on age and sex. It's the older males which have the richest golden yellow fur. Both sexes have horns which can be over 60 centimetres long. They're dangerous weapons and hunters have been killed by cornered Tarkin. With the alpine meadows blanketed in snow, the Tarkin will have retreated into dense forest, where the leaves of shrubs and trees are accessible. We have little chance of finding the animals there, so have no choice but to pick our way along the snow-covered paths back down the mountain. I hope I have better luck finding the creature next on my list. I'll need it. This will be my third attempt to find one of them in the wild. Although I've been up close and personal with these animals at Chengdu's panda base. In the wild, they're found in the mountains of China, Pakistan, India, Laos, Bhutan, Nepal and Burma. Red pandas are about the size of a domestic cat. It's obvious how they get the first part of their name, but what about the second part?
The English word panda is derived from the Tibetan word punya. That means bamboo eater, and that's why red pandas and giant pandas have the same name. They're not closely related to their giant namesake. Red pandas are in the same family as raccoons and skunks. 2/3 of their diet is bamboo, but as you can see, red pandas adore fruit too. They'll also take blossom and the odd insect. The mating season for red pandas is December through February. The females will have 1 to 4 blind and helpless cubs in a cosy tree hollow in the summer. When Thomas Hardwick first took one of these beautiful animals to the west in 1821, he proclaimed it the most beautiful mammal on earth. But then the giant panda was discovered, and these wonderful creatures were put in the shade, almost forgotten about. I think red pandas are adorable. I've tried before, but I'm determined now to fulfill a lifelong ambition and find a red panda in the wild.
The best place in China to see one is a few hours from Chengdu. It's a mountain with a distinctive shape, Wawushan. Rising over 3,000 metres into the sky, the top is often shrouded in cloud. It's rare to get a clear view like this of China's own Table Mountain.
Now right to the top.
On the way up, I skim over familiar flowers. China is the source of many plants whose descendants are now found in gardens all around the world. Rhododendrons, camellias, chrysanthemums, roses and azaleas all originated here. At the top, a cabin in the forest will be the base for my search. Right on my doorstep, there's bamboo thickets. I'm staying in the heart of red panda country. But they're few and far between. A female roams a territory of over 2 square kilometres, while males live in areas twice that size.
The path at the top of Wawushan goes right through this beautiful bamboo forest. To find a red panda, I just need to keep walking and walking, looking for a flash of red fur.
But my search won't be easy. The Warushan Plateau covers 11 square kilometres. And I'll need the weather on my side. Thick fog could roll in at any time.
Warushan is a perfect home for red pandas. Plenty of food, a whole sea of bamboo, and tree islands where they can rest, sunbathe, and find seasonal fruits and berries.
Another animal that spends most of its time in the trees turns up almost underfoot.
Stripy mammal in the path. Let's see if we can get a closer look. Always carry a few sunflower seeds just for this eventuality. The animals on Warushan are so confiding. This looks like a chipmunk. It isn't. It's Swinhoe's striped squirrel. This little fella's still got his thick winter coat.
Swinhoe's striped squirrel is one of over 40 squirrel species found in China.
It's vital to protect these bamboo forests, not just for red and giant pandas, but for other bamboo specialists too. Just in here, there's the nest of a great parrotbill. The bird is working inside. Just see this big orange bill. And up there's its mate with nesting material. Most species of parrotbills are found around bamboo.
Sichuan is a stronghold for many bamboo lovers. The province has 17% of the bamboo forests remaining in China. The bamboo eater I really want to meet is still eluding me. I've crisscrossed Warushan's flat top all day without a sniff of a red panda. Near my base, there's another elusive creature that needs a covert surveillance operation.
There have been reports of a really surprising animal coming close to the hotel. The restaurant is just over there. So I'm setting this up, hoping we can catch it on video. She's a creature of habit and usually comes just before dusk. Fingers crossed she'll come this evening. There we go, recording, camera's working well.
Red pandas are active at night, but they're usually feeding hidden in dense stands of bamboo, where there's little chance of seeing them. Other animals are much more obvious though.
Listen to that wonderful sound. I love frogging, tracking down the animals that are making these songs. Most of them are males advertising for a mate. The biggest males produce the loudest and deepest croaks. They're normally the best mates, so the females can make judgments about their suitors without even seeing them. There's a pair at the edge of the bank. Let me see if I can get them. Yes, got them both. This man is obviously very attractive to females because she was drawn to him by his croak. These are Bao Xing tree frogs. You can see the males are a little smaller than the female. Got little suckers on their feet so they can climb vertical leaves. Believe it or not, these cute little frogs have a connection with the giant panda. Both of them were discovered by the French missionary Père David when he came on expeditions to Sichuan in the 19th century. It's a Bao Xing tree frog. It's one of the Sichuan whipping frogs. They're called that because of how they lay their eggs. She won't spawn in the water. She'll make a nest of foam and whip it up with her back legs. The eggs will hatch inside that foam, and the tadpoles will then drop into the water, where they'll develop into tiny froglets. Let's put you back so you can continue your courtship. I've come to this mountain stream to find another amphibian that I know must live here because I've seen it in a drink in the restaurant. Nothing under that one. Let's try a bit deeper. There we go, got one. It's only a little baby, but this is the Chinese mountain salamander. The adults grow quite large, over 20 centimetres in length. It's amazing that they can survive in these mountain streams. The water is so frigid, but they've been found at altitudes up to 3,500 metres. This one was hatched last summer. Female Chinese brook salamanders lay between 40 to 45 eggs in June or July. It's moving around a bit, a beautiful little thing. I just hope when this one grows up, it doesn't end up in a jar of alcohol. Go on then, away you go.
Coming up, I unravel the mystery of the creature living on my doorstep. Drinks with salamanders in, and is this a red panda?
Look, at the top of that tree.
Wawushan in central China. The mountain is home to red pandas. I've been here twice before and failed to see them. This time, I'm determined to succeed. Last night, I found a Chinese mountain salamander. I knew they live here because they end up in bottles in the restaurant.
Oh, Shishini. Thank you. Beautiful eggs and noodles for breakfast. But before I eat, let me show you what I meant about salamanders in drink. There's a whole shelf of traditional Chinese medicines here. There's roots, there's bulbs. But this is very sad. Salamanders in alcohol. Some of the local people believe if you drink this liquid, it will help with stomach complaints. Stuff and nonsense, of course. The younger generation don't believe that anymore. So hopefully in the future, salamanders won't come to a sad end like these ones have.
There's another mystery to resolve at the lodge too. The identity of an impressive visitor. Did I catch her on camera last night?
This is exciting. Let's see if she turned up. Camera was working okay. Nothing yet. This is such a boring shot.
I scroll right through the video.
Nothing moving at all. End of the recording. She didn't make an appearance, but I promise you, Wawushan is home to Asiatic black bears. Sometimes they come close to the lodge, and last year a scientist caught one on camera.
Vegetable matter can make up 90% of an Asiatic black bear's diet. So it's no surprise that rice and other vegetable scraps thrown out from the kitchen attract this female. She weighs around 80 kilograms. Males tip the scales at 120 kilos. Red pandas are just 5 kilograms. A sighting of one would be worth its weight in gold. The weather is on my side. Last night was clear and cold, so the pandas should be out in the open, warming themselves up.
Here's some proof that red pandas are here, just next to a patch of snow. Look, around 2/3 of the red panda's diet is bamboo. Bamboo leaves have very little goodness, so the pandas produce a lot of this. Hardly any smell at all. If I put it right next to my nose, that's a lovely whiff like freshly mown hay. But at last, some concrete proof red pandas are still here and feeding in the area.
In China, red pandas are nearly as rare as giant ones. Their population has nearly halved over the last 50 years. Wawushan, one of their Chinese strongholds, is earmarked for more intensive tourism. I wonder for how long it will be possible to see them here.
I was scanning the tops of the pines, looking much too high last time I came here and failed to see a red panda. I've since found out that this is a much better place to look. A deciduous tree with branches just above the height of the bamboo. When the red pandas have finished feeding, they climb up, lay on the branches and sunbathe.
So I know the right places to look, the weather is perfect. Where are they? As the day wears on, my chances of seeing a red panda get slimmer. After warming up in the morning sun, they'll avoid the heat of midday by finding a shady spot to curl up in.
Look, at the top of that tree. A red panda.
It's much higher than expected. Washing like this is a morning ritual.
I was starting to believe I'd never see one. They're such a rarity in the wild. There's only about 3,000 remaining. He's starting to move down. Pop into a bamboo, flash of red. He's away. Yes.
I have to agree with the 19th century explorers who proclaimed the red panda one of the most beautiful mammals on Earth.
A red panda day is certainly a red letter day. I really hope you've enjoyed my adventures in the bamboo forests of Sichuan. Next time on Untamed China, I travel to the vast grasslands of Inner Mongolia.
I'll take to the sky in a hot air balloon and hop on my bike to cross the grassy plains. I'll see elegant cranes and meet herders of reindeer. I'll try to net tiny flyers and latch on to a lizard.
Bye for now. See you on my next adventure in Untamed China.